I'm going to be explaining how to solve a Punnett square, which will come in handy to you in biology, especially when you learn about genetics. Punnett squares are used by biologists to determine the probability of an offspring having a specific genotype or gene, which is written in letters. It's a summary in the form of at least 4 small boxes inside a larger box, depending if you're doing a monohybrid cross, which only includes 1 gene, or a dihybrid cross, which includes 2. So an example of a monohybrid cross is mating 2 pea plants, 1 tall and 1 short. This only deals with the height gene. An example of a dihybrid cross is mating a pea plant that is green and rough with a pea plant that is yellow and smooth. In contrast, this deals with 2 genes, the color gene and the texture gene. Gregor Mendel mated a hybrid pea plant with a hybrid, which is represented as big T little t. This will be explained later. He got 3 tall plants and 1 short plant, so his phenotypic ratio, or the traits of the offspring, is 3 tall to 1 short. This is Gregor Mendel, and he's known as the father of genetics. Mendel is credited for 4 major laws, including the law of dominance, which states that if you have a specific allele and it happens to be dominant, and this is represented as a capital T, the phenotype of the offspring will be what that allele is. So an organism with the genotype big T little t will be tall because of the big T. Some important definitions are that P is the parent generation, F1 is the first filial generation, F2 is the second filial generation. A trait is a characteristic that varies per organism, such as being tall or being short. A gene is a unit of heredity, transferred from the parent to the offspring. An allele is a form of a gene, such as big T or little t. A genotype is the genes an organism possesses. And finally, a phenotype is the appearance or traits / characteristics. Now to explain genotypes and phenotypes. The phenotype of the genotype big T is tall. The phenotype of the genotype little t is short. The phenotype of the genotype big T little t is tall. The phenotype of the genotype little t is short. And finally, the phenotype of the genotype big T is tall. The dominant allele all the time would always be a capital letter, so in this case it's big T, and the recessive allele would always be a lowercase, which in this case is little t. Big T little t would be a hybrid, and big T and little t would be purebreds. Now to actually solve a Punnett square, let's cross a tall purebred pea plant, which would be big T, with a hybrid, which would be big T little t. So first you would place the big T at the top and the big T little t on the side, and it doesn't matter where you put them as long as you put them either on the top or the side, because you're going to get the same result. And now it's time to combine them. A big T will create a big T. A big T will create a big T again. A little T will create a big T little t. You always place the dominant allele first, and a little T will create a big T little t. The result of this cross is big T, big T, big T, big T little t, and big T little t. This means that the offspring will be 100% tall. Now for some real-world examples. Let's cross big B and little b, where big B is brown, which is dominant, and little b is blue, which is recessive. So, big B is brown and dominant, and little b is blue and recessive. The result of this cross is big B, little b, little b, and little b. So this means that the offspring will have 50% brown eyes and 50% blue eyes. For our last example, we will cross two pink plants, big R little r and big R little r, where the big R is dominant and the little r is recessive. In this case, the big R little r becomes pink instead of red because of Mendel's law of codominance, where neither allele is dominant or recessive. The big R little r should be red because of the dominant big R, but in this case it's pink because of codominance. The pink flowers are a combination or blend of the red and the white, so the offspring will be 50% pink, 25% red, and 25% white.